Stuff like that. I know where the leaks are, or could possibly leak. That's right over there. Right? Other stuff is extra. You know what I mean? So anyway, but now add up, try to add up in a way what we deal with on a regular basis and what everybody else that was even acting like us a little bit, what was happening to them. Okay, are people conscious of us? Of course, everybody's conscious. Everybody that's, you know, they come by here, if we was raising money out there, whatever we was doing, it's all, everybody's conscious of us. We don't have to prove that to each other, but so everybody knows. Because remember, we're not just archivists, archiving all of this. We're not just chroniclers, we're not just historians either. We're doing a serious job of education. That's the whole thing. Education and training. That's what we've been doing for decades. And looks like that's our job for the next near future. So, our daily work schedule. We will do something every day, and that will eventually add up to putting us back on the road to what we call recovery. There's nothing nobody can do about that. Because, like, if my foot hurts, well, it don't hurt as much as it did the other day, and there was no reason for it hurting anyway. And it was so tender that I didn't knock it up against nothing. And my arm 2 weeks ago had the same type of thing when I hadn't did anything to, you know, the physiology, I already know. So all of that, it's not a research anymore to see whether where is boss man? Is he internally, right? Is he just externally? Does he influence by certain things that he would do, like shaping and hurting? And I would go do something else, and he would do something. And then pretty soon he would be managing my behavior. Okay, you can forget that. We're not doing that. We're not doing that. We're not doing that. And whatever part that we do, if we go by the numbers, we are living inside the United States of America. That means we, boss man, have access, 100% access to us. But we're going to use his access different. We have been already, but we're going to use his access different. For instance, we talked sometime about Sister Zakiya. Sister Zakiya, okay, Sister Zakiya, okay. She called not long ago, and then there was an interruption in the phone call, and then she called back. After a day or so, after it had been really briefed. Now I'm just looking at something and I'm projecting what's going on. I mean, I have no proof, I can't take it in court. But from what I've learned over the decades, that she had been briefed on all of that. Okay, now, if she calls me back, like right now, the only question I'm going to ask is, what do you want to participate in what we're doing, where we're headed for the future? Number one, you was in charge of the school, University of California, top, excellent school in Oakland. Okay, now, right now, we're doing a house right there. She's talking about packing up, go to California. If she calls me back, we can move her in right there as soon as we get it fixed up. And that could be the temporary headquarters for editing, writing, like someone to do our new As-Sabiqun, someone to do all that. All that's just waiting. But she have to call me. I'm not calling her. Because we have to be clear. I'm saying this publicly, and I'm saying so everybody knows, look, right now, when we talk about big is not according to what they call big and what we would call big decades ago. Big for us now, what we're just rolling in the big time, you got to remember 20, 30 years ago, we was at all the big conferences, we was doing all that stuff. It was all the demonstration. So people would say that's active and that's important. Okay. That's not important for us. Number one, all of that is arranged. Can you imagine? Think about how important we are. All of California, a whole new organization called MSA West, fully functional. Thousands of people coming to the meetings. Not the MSA. The MSA president comes out there to UC Berkeley, right? And he goes to an MSA West program. Our immigrant crew have been boosted up by the government. They all have bayed to me, and they present me to him as though I'm doing all of that. I ain't doing nothing. I'm not even going to speak at Berkeley. Abdul Malik is going to speak. But they're playing it to him, and he's looking, he is actually mad at me. The MSA president, he is burning up because the way they're playing it is, this guy has organized all of this. I haven't organized nothing. Okay, I'm letting it happen, right? I'm letting it happen. I'm letting everything happen. Because they're looking at me like, okay, I'm a figurehead. I can see exactly, and I'm playing that role. I am a figurehead here. I don't run nothing. Abdul Malik is running up and down the coast. He's the coordinator of everything. And remember, I said in those days, Oakland is the clearinghouse, right? And all the people that were with them was with him. They wasn't with me. They have bad at me, but this guy come here 12 years later, this says, what do we do with our bear? I said, anyway, now, that MSA West was on the road. MSA West that hit California, Oregon, and Washington. It's headed this way. Arizona. In other words, they're getting as far as New Mexico. When you get all of that, you got that's a big chunk of the United States, because it's not these little small states here. California, Oregon, and Washington is the whole West Coast. coming in a ways. When you stick Arizona and New Mexico in there, hey man, and Colorado, let's not forget Colorado, that means you done knocked the West. You done knocked the West. I don't have nothing to do with it. I don't get no invite to none of they have. Remember they having big programs. Hundreds of people coming to it. Right? That's the organization ability that they have. They run the United States. They can do that from pop, right? When they open the Masjid around the corner, it opened up, boom, rolling. It didn't have to struggle along for no months or years. They had a crowd the day they opened, right? They had a crowd the day they opened. Okay. The point is that all these things that are happening in and around us, we have some say-so about it. And as we move forward, we're going to exert more. It don't seem like nothing, but the cars will stay there. They just sit there till we get ready to do something about it. Anybody want to come get a key and take it and get it towed and get it fixed? It's up to them. I'm not going to do it. You know, I'm not going to do it till I get ready. As long as they're there, they'll be worth it in a teaching method. You know what I mean? I'll teach on those. I'll teach on them. You see what I mean? Okay, the other thing that's very important is the formulation of As-Sabiqun moving forward. Well, all the stuff we're talking about, it's not one or two people can do it. Because when we talk about world-class organization, this is the stage for it. We've been mentioning it in this stuff all along. World-class. Okay, but this is the time when that's going to happen. Okay, now, if someone like Sister Zakiya wants to play a part, then she'll just have to call me. It's not a surrender to anything, but what it means is this. We're setting up to have more clarity that, okay, to me it's no problem just to pretend we're just floating along, it's okay. But I'll give you an example. Like my nephew great nephew that did the thing the other week, the other month, something like that. Okay. When I realized what was happening with him was we had a place called Headquarters in LA. 20 years ago, he came by and he was, like, I want to do something about you and all of that. And of course, I might be technically famous in Oakland. Same thing he's talking now. So I said, I'm going to be in LA, come on by. And I met him at Headquarters. Headquarters is one of them old, if you came in, it would be an Iranian Shia type apartment like that we went to all the time in the 80s, especially the early 80s. Now remember, in LA, we have a place over on Overland called As-Sabiqun. In fact, a Negro over there, Darl Hendry, spoke there once. And the Negro, what's the name? Abdul Jahari. Jahari was down with, he knew all about As-Sabiqun. He went over As-Sabiqun in a PowerPoint lecture over there. And I was in the audience and he would check with me, does this, that? I said, yeah, sure, that's that. He gave, because remember, all of them are hooked up. Wow. So when he comes to LA, they have him speak at our place. Of course, persona non grata, I'm persona non grata there. But now, right around the corner, right on the next street, that's the Sunni establishment. We have clothes there, it's a nice big, it's a nice place. We have clothes, all that stuff. It's a nice place. Big prayer area and all of that. Now right around the corner we have, it starts with an apartment on the second floor. Then we get the apartment under that for the second floor, on the first floor. Then we get the apartment next door to that, then the one down at the corner. So in this apartment complex, we eventually have about five apartments. All students, either they're living in two of the apartments. The one we use upstairs and downstairs, yeah. The sisters later on moved downstairs and we put a wire down there so they could participate in all the festivities. They're downstairs. And the brothers are upstairs. So he comes, and this is my great nephew. And I'm just talking to him about the thing. Now, automatically I'm looking at his history. He's just been plugged into BA, what is it, Black BET, plugged in. Right after that, he has a top show, Keisha Cole. You remember that Keisha Cole show? From Oakland. Keisha Cole is from Oakland. And, so he's right in that. So he's, and I'm watching him start, and he's got little video stuff, and he's staying at my sister's house for a lot of the time. And we see each other all the time. And he's doing his little video when he's a young kid. He's been into this quite a while. A long story short, at the same time he comes by, I'm there to give a talk over at one of the Masjid in LA. But the brother is telling me, just take it easy, and then I meet, he since died of cancer of the tongue. And Muhammad Al-Asi was very happy about it. Well, he didn't say he was happy, but I said, whatever happened to brother so-and-so? He died of cancer of the tongue, like you don't watch out, you get the same thing from the white thing. You know, where you can't talk and you gotta. Now his kids, this is those things in the 80s, 90s, and the early 90s that are coming under this, what's these acts they passing in those days? All those congressional acts that terrorism things and where they can watch you. Okay, he's looked up in them. And so his kids come to me, I tell you what, in 2008, they're talking to me about raising funds for them and their father, because their father when I see the kids, I'm at the Iranian program in Chicago, and they're asking me to help raise funds. I said, sure. So because their father is under all of this stuff that they was doing at that time. When I go to his center to speak, it's a nice center. It's all Iranians and Iraqis. And when I go in there, I'm talking to everybody. I'm saying, I thought I was going to speak at a Saudi place with all the take it easy and be, because I know everybody there very well. I said, so I start talking. I bring him and his wife to be with me. This was at least 20 years ago. So he picks up on and he knows, but he's been raised to do this. The government gave him, they the one plugged him in. Now you gotta remember, he's gonna, if he called me back last month, and for 2 days, 3 days, he gotta have this and gotta have that, right? Then we don't hear nothing from him, right? Nope, it ain't nothing to me. I already know that that's, I've been putting it off for years, and so when I do it is when I want to do it. But the point is all of the people, we call it orbiting around, all of the people that's in this orbit, you know what I mean, will be confronting those people. And part of it will be family, like family. I'm gonna lay it out to my family. I've been letting it to my niece. I'm gonna say, well, you tell the white man to fix up our house there in California, strip it clean and remodel the whole thing, because remember how nice it was, Section 8, right? It's a junkyard. It's a real junkyard. It says it's Fred Sanford Plus right now. And my son is there leading the charge. But my son, you gotta not be careful what you pray for, but I prayed for my sons, both of them.